Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome to the first of my new series of comparison videos where I take two very popular and controversial movies that are very similar and compare the two and consider both their strengths and weaknesses and reach a conclusion, my opinion of course, which is better. Of course, in these comparison videos there's no right or wrong answer, it's just my personal taste. We all have our own opinions, so if you disagree with me in the final verdict, if you're on the side of the other movie, I totally respect your opinion, and that's the way we're all meant to be. We're all meant to be different from each other.
The Force Awakens versus Rogue One.
First, we're going to start out with the one part of Star Wars everybody loves and watches it the most for, the characters. Which movie has the superior characters, Force Awakens or Rogue One? Well, when you think about it, Force Awakens has, well, leagues better character development. I mean, Rey herself is a truly wonderful protagonist. She's so surrounded in mystery. She's a total badass. So she has so much likability to her, and we discover more about her as the story will go on. I cannot wait to see where her storyline goes with her training with Luke in The Last Jedi, who I think she's the daughter of Luke, but we'll wait and see. Not to mention Finn's a fantastic character. He's a stormtrooper with personality. We didn't get that in the original trilogy, who actually turns good. Poe's great. Poe's really fun, even if he could get more screen time. BB-8 is absolutely adorable. Yeah, he's the R2 and 3PO of the sequel trilogy. Kylo Ren being one of the best Star Wars villains just ever. His triple-bladed lightsaber would even give Darth Vader a run for his money. Accompanied by Supreme Leader Snoke, the most intimidating and most mysterious Star Wars villain yet, who I am desperate to find out his true identity in The Last Jedi, as well as the Hitler-like General Hux, who's really entertaining, and the first female commander stormtrooper, Captain Phasma, which will hopefully get more to do, as well as the Yoda-like Maz Kanata, who's really mysterious. Yeah, hopefully we'll learn more about her too. As well as the new gang, we've got the old gang back. We've got Han, Chewie, Leia, and 3PO, R2, all get the right amount of screen time and are the advisors for our new heroes. So Force Awakens, character-wise, has perfect characterization, but I'm afraid I wish I could say the same thing about Rogue One, but while I do like Jyn Erso, she is like Rey, a badass heroine. I'm glad we're guessing, well, more British actors in Star Wars now that Disney have taken over. Daisy Ridley and Felicity Jones both are great, and Jyn Erso is the most well-developed of our heroes in Rogue One, given how her father built the Death Star and her mother gave her that necklace, and Jyn's spent years in in Imperial camp before she was rescued, and of course it's because of her that the Death Star plans got to Leia, partly, but an entire year passed while Jyn was being raised by Saw Gerrera, and we didn't get to see that. We were just told that through exposition. That was so disappointing. Yes, K2SO was great. K2SO was such a fun character, even if he's not so quite BB-8, so he provided much needed comic relief in a really dark, intense, war-like Star Wars movie that lacked whimsy. But other than Jyn and K2SO, and of course we got the awesome cameo from Vader himself, where he was just absolutely kicking ass, and just in the two scenes that he got, shame he wasn't in the movie more. The other characters in Rogue One, they are painfully boring and forgettable as shit. I mean, I don't even remember half of their names. That's how forgettable they are. I think, well, characters like Cassian Diego Lira, well, at least attempted to give to to make an impression, but his character, literally, we knew nothing about him. He didn't do anything for me other than just be a forced love interest for Jin. Although the blinder guy who used the Force, so he was a fascinating character. If only he was explored more. And the Chinese guy with the gun, he didn't really do anything other than be the blind Force user's friend. And the other guy he was a pilot with goggles, that's all we knew about him. And Saw Gerrera was absolutely wasted. He only getting, well, like 5 minutes of screen time, and his voice was so low like this. Forrest Whitaker, why did you have to do that voice? It was kind of distracting. And director Orson Krennic, he's a decent, serviceable villain, and he's fun when he gets angry. Are we blind? Deploy the garrison! But he's not Darth Vader. Why use this guy when you could have... And why use a unnecessary CGI Tarkin? Why did Tarkin need to be in Rogue One? Well, why did they CGI Tarkin and Leia? If you can't make CGI humans look 100% convincing, if people are going to notice it, then why have it at all? Vader, I'm afraid, should have been the main antagonist of Rogue One. People who defend the lack of characterization in Rogue One are going to say, oh, but Harry, it's not about the characters, it's about the mission. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't see that as an excuse to not develop your characters. Imagine how much more powerful their deaths would have been at the Battle of Scarif if we actually cared about them and gave a shit about them more. Look at how powerful Han Solo's death was in The Force Awakens. That's one of the saddest, most powerful Star Wars scenes, bar none. That was more powerful and more effective than all of the deaths in Rogue One combined. I'm sorry. I mean, I think even the characters from the prequels were better developed than the characters from Rogue One. There, I said it. Oh boy, I'm prepared for hate comments when I say things like that, but I'm sorry, guys, but point to the characters easily goes to Force Awakens. Now, in terms to which film looked the best, this is a very difficult one because both movies are undeniably visual spectacles. They are both epic in scale and have a dazzling, beautiful and original locations for Star Wars films. People who say Jakku is just a rip-off of Tatooine, I really beg to differ. Jakku, I don't mind it being a desert planet, so there could be many other desert planets in the Star Wars galaxy. There are millions of planets out there. Tatooine's not going to be the only desert one. And Jakku had plenty of differences, like destroy the Imperial Star Destroyers. And Tankoa was a beautiful, lush forest location with, Mars Kanata's cantina inside. And people, of course, who hate Force Awakens are going to say that's just a recreation of the Mos Eisley cantina from A New Hope. I'm sorry, I beg to differ. It looked different enough to me to stand on its own. And the Starkiller base was probably the biggest super weapon in the Star Wars galaxy so far, and it's really creative how it was a planet instead of just a boring machine. They actually made it a snow planet, which gave a Starkiller base an all-around bigger, more threatening feel. And I cannot wait to see Luke's Island, which was at the cliffhanger at the end of Force Awakens, and we're probably going to see in Last Jedi. And Rogue One had great locations too. I mean, Jeddah was very fascinating to see an old Jedi city. Yes, it was another desert planet, but there could be many desert planets in this galaxy, and the rainy planet, yes, kind of looked like Camino, but more sinister and no ocean, so never a direct rip-off. And we even got to see Mustafar back in Vader's fortress. That was so freaking cool. And Scarif was the best world in Rogue One for me. It's a beach planet. It's like a tropical island. How refreshing is that? That was, and that gave the the Battle of Scarif as Saving Private Ryan feel. So, such a hard choice. But if I had to be honest, I have to say Force Awakens wins this one too. I mean, Force Awakens locations just had more of a Star Wars feel to them. They just had a bit more magic. Whereas Rogue One's such a dark, gritty tone, really kind of lacked that magic. Comparing the action of Force Awakens and Rogue One, both had absolutely amazing action. I know many of you expect me to say Rogue One's action is better. You're going to want me to say, wasn't that the third act of Rogue One just perfect? The Battle of Scarif, best space battle since Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader's scene in the hallway. Well, I'm afraid, guys, I'm afraid, Rogue One fans, I've gotta go with Force Awakens with better action on this one. So Force Awakens fans, we pleased to hear. Just Force Awakens for me just has the best action in the series so far. I think it's really underappreciated. The awesome assault on Jakku in the opening of the film was really thrilling and introduced us to how the First Order were the biggest threat the galaxy has ever faced, and the escape from the First Order Star Destroyer when Finn and Poe team up. That was thrilling, and as well as it had some character to it as well. We got to see Finn and Poe grow to know each other. The chase on Jakku with the Millennium Falcon, just classic Star Wars scene. That is one of the iconic moments in Force Awakens, and the Battle of Tanker was absolutely epic. That just blew me away when I saw it, and we got to see a stormtrooper actually fight Finn with a lightsaber. Would an Imperial stormtrooper ever have done that? And the Battle of Starkiller Base, astonishing. It even had the best lightsaber duel for me in any Star Wars film so far between Finn, Rey, and Kylo Ren. And the action Force Awakens is so much better than the action Rogue One for me, mainly because there's so much more substance and character to the action. The action in a movie, it works best when it's less about the actual action taking place and more about whether we care about the characters. Whereas in Rogue One, because I really didn't care about these characters, I wasn't as invested. As spectacular and bombastic as it was, I didn't care as much. Yes, Rogue One did have spectacular action, like the action in Jeddah, the destruction of Jeddah, the mission to save Galen, and of course Battle of Scarif and the space battle. But I didn't, and the Darth Vader scene, but I didn't care about what was going on there nearly as much as I did in Force Awakens, so point goes to Force Awakens. I bet you're interested to hear what score I like more, Force Awakens or Rogue One. Force Awakens fans, congratulations, point goes to Force Awakens. John Williams beats Michael Giacchino any day. It was a huge mistake not asking John Williams to score Rogue One. Michael Giacchino's score was okay, but Force Awakens just had the classic Star Wars theme and an opening crawl. A big mistake not having an opening crawl for Rogue One. So to no one's surprise, I think The Force Awakens is the better movie than Rogue One. If you want to know where I rank Rogue One in the prequels, I think it's the second best prequel. Yes, you may be shocked, but I think Revenge of the Sith even is a better film than Rogue One. I like Rogue One, but I just think it's kind of overrated. Sorry, Rogue One fans, I know you're going to dislike this video. Chris Stuckman got a lot of hate for preferring Force Awakens to Rogue One, but guys, it's just opinions. If not everybody's going to agree. But if you preferred Rogue One, that's awesome. I totally understand. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison video. And which did you prefer, Force Awakens or Rogue One? I'm very interested to see that comment section. Please comment, let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. And please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love making new subscribers, meeting new people, making new friends, and talking to you guys about movies. I really appreciate that. And please follow me on Twitter and on Google+. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.